Good morning. So if you've been watching my videos for a while, you may remember a while ago that I put a number of metal sculptures in at Conwy Water Gardens. Well, I've decided recently that they weren't being appreciated enough down there, so I've decided to bring them all back home. So I've got a few in the shed, I've put a few around the garden already, but the owl is the most impressive and largest out of them, and I'm thinking he really needs to go somewhere special. Now, I've been thinking about this for a while, because since I purchased this piece of land here, I knew that there was this steep bank here, and I thought that would look really good with ferns on it. So I've been collecting a load of different ferns. So I've got a load of ferns to go in on here. Now, recently, I've cleared this fence line, and I found there's actually a path up here as well, which is even better. But, obviously, this section is nice and clear. That has still got a lot of stuff on it. So my plan for this weekend is to clear the last of that down there, to get rid of the holly, the brambles, and the laurel, and then install the sculpture and hopefully manage to plant a load of ferns. So let's go down there and have a bit of a closer look at what I'm dealing with. Now, when you initially come down here, you'd be forgiven for thinking there's absolutely nothing worth saving in here. You might as well just clear the lot. But there is quite a lot growing, and although it's winter, if you know what you're looking at, you can still identify some of the plants. So down here, for example, we've got a couple of ferns. So that is the crown of the fern there. You can see the leaves all curled up. That's what's going to come out next year. This one's still got some of the old leaves on, but there's another fern just there. That's all the old leaves they've broken off. So it's useful to be careful of those because I want to encourage the ferns. The other thing is there are small trees in here. Now I saw a couple of ash trees. There we go. There's an ash tree there. Now it's winter, it's got no leaves on it. You might struggle to identify these things, but the ash trees are quite obvious because they've got these pointy black buds to them and they've got this lovely silver bark to them. The leaves themselves come in pairs either side all the way up the branches as well. So they're quite an easy one to identify. The other one you get quite a lot at the moment is the hazel trees. So the hazels have this brown spotty bark to them. The top buds usually are quite rounded and bulbous like that. And the leaves come off opposite sides of the branch. There's one there, and then one on the opposite side further down. So they don't go in pairs, they go either side. The other things that I've been able to identify here, this one here is a mountain ash, so it's a lot larger, a bit easier to spot. But this, it's got more of a spotty bark to it. It's not quite as silver as the ash trees. And the other thing is, the leaf buds tend to be pointy just on the end there. For some reason, mountain ash don't tend to have a lot of leaves. It tends to only have it on the end. So you can see here, it's going to have leaves on that bud there, it's going to have leaves on that bud there, and leaves there. But it doesn't really have any leaves anywhere else down the branch there. The other one that I've identified is the oak trees. So there's quite a lot of oak here. But you can see here with the oak, the branches tend to go off at all sorts of different angles. And you've got, it's a different colour bark again. It's more of a green to the bark with the oak trees. So I am learning what the trees are, and when you spend more time with them, you do identify them. Every now and again, I do find one, and I look at it and I think, I have no idea what that is. But if I find something like that, I have a tendency to leave it just to find out what it is. And sometimes you do find some interesting things. But yeah, so my plan is to work my way through here. Like I say, I'm going to clear the holly, I'm going to clear the laurel, I'm going to clear the brambles. I know what they are, I know that I don't want them. That will then allow the light in, and we can see what nature does itself. It's not necessarily pushing it in one direction, but pushing it away from where you don't want it to go. So, yeah. Right, well, I've got a bucket of tools. It's cold and wet, so we'll see how far I can get. But yeah, let's make a start. Well, I think that's all the clearing I need to do for this video. Obviously, I would like to go further in the future, but for now, I think I've got a large enough area to work with. So there are still a few stragglers in here to come out, but I'll do those as I tidy up. And talking about tidying up, I have got one hell of a pile to get rid of again. So I'll be doing that off camera in a bit, and I'll get back to it when I'm putting stuff in. But that last laurel, that was quite a challenge to get out. It did reveal something absolutely fantastic. So I have got another boulder in the garden. So a while ago I dug one out because I saw a little bit of a boulder and thought that would be an interesting feature. Well, now I've got two of them. Now there is this tree on top of it. I think it's a hawthorn. Obviously it's difficult to tell without any leaves, but it's got spikes on it and it kind of looks a bit like a hawthorn. So I was really pleased to have that up here, but I am now a little bit concerned because obviously it is growing over the boulder. Now as a feature it looks absolutely fantastic. It's whether or not the tree will survive. The tree itself, it is relatively solid. There's not a lot of movement in the base here, and even these rocks that are underneath it, they don't move, so I think it will be okay. I might take the top out of it just to give it a bit more wind resistance, but yeah, hopefully these shoots that are coming up at the base, now they've got some light, will actually grow properly, and then this damaged section can be cut off in the future. But yeah, so I'm going to spend some time clearing that, and I shall see you in a bit. Right, so we're on to putting the owl in place. So at the water gardens, it's sat on a concrete slab. Now the concrete slab was already there, I just put the sculpture on it. For here, I'm thinking I'm going to put it in as a temporary at first with some wooden posts, because I want to make sure that it's in the right place. It's a lot of effort to go to put a concrete slab in here that's not going to move, and I don't want to go to all that effort and then find it's in the wrong place. So for now, I'm going to hammer these posts into the ground and then screw it to the top. I'm hoping this is going to work because I've got 6 posts to put in, and trying to line it up is going to be incredibly difficult. So yeah, we'll see how we get on. Well, there we go, that's the owl in. It wasn't easy to do on that bank. I was sliding down at one point, but I've managed to get all the posts in. They actually lined up relatively well, so now we're on to finding some ferns. Okay, well, on to the ferns. So I've said before, I absolutely love having ferns. Now, in the UK this year, we've had an incredibly mild winter. It's currently the beginning of February. That fern shouldn't really be looking like that. That fern should be looking like what I've got in the bucket here. So you've got the new leaves all curled up, ready to come up, but the rest of the leaves all died off. Now if you're wondering where that fern came from, when I replaced the water butt on my greenhouse down there, I had to dig that one out and I said I would replant it. Well, I am going to replant it, but it's been sat in a bucket ever since. But the thing is, ferns are incredibly resilient. Although they do thrive in moist, shady conditions, they can cope with dry, they can cope with sunshine. They are incredibly versatile, so I think they're just a wonderful plant. But it seems a bit of a shame having everything die down and look like that all winter. But there are a number of evergreen varieties. So somebody left me alone with the end of year catalogue at work, and I happened to buy a few. And there was quite a few different varieties of ferns on there, and I have brought 150 plants that need to go in, and I've had those since November, so they really do need to go in. But yeah, I've got this wonderful selection here. Now, some of these are actually UK natives. So I've got this one here, which is the Hart's Tongue fern, and I've got this one here, which is a deer fern. I believe they are both UK natives, but they're quite nice, low growing, they don't get much taller than that. But you've also got a couple of others here. So this one is an autumn fern, so that one, you can see the remains of it, but it has a lovely red colour to it in the autumn. You've got that one there, which is a tassel fern. So that's a clump forming fern. Apparently it can get up to a metre tall, but we'll see. But that is quite a nice looking fern. Then we've got these two here. Now it's very easy to get confused between these two. So this one is a holly fern and this one here is a wood fern. So they both have the segregated leaves like that off of a stem. Now normally with the fronds they're all divided like that, but these are more solid. But this one, which is a wood fern, they're just a little bit more chunky, a bit more rounded. And then finally we have these, which are tree ferns. Now tree ferns, normally when you see them, they're a couple of £100 and they're 6 foot tall. These are only young. Now they only grow about an inch a year, so it'll be years before they actually do anything fantastic. But if I get them in now, I mean, they were cheap. They were £5 each for this lot. So I think if I can get them in now, it'd be wonderful to see what they do in the future. I've also got a couple of regular garden plants there just to add some colour, but I'm going to be putting all that lot in here just to liven it up over the winter, and then in the summer there are actually already a lot of ferns in here, so this should be a fantastic fern bank going along here. So I'm going to spend some time getting that lot in, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm finished. So see you in a bit. Right, well that's all the ferns planted, and it's starting to look how I envisaged. Obviously it's going to take a while to fill out, but I did take one hell of a lot of plants out of here, and it doesn't actually notice. Obviously I've been careful as I've put the plants in, but yeah, it looks like natural woodland, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, I will be giving updates on this throughout the year. Might not be a direct update on this area, but obviously you'll see it in the background of other videos. So make sure you subscribe. Obviously, if you're here on the 10th of May, there's the Village Open Gardens. So you could always pop down and see it in person, which would be absolutely excellent. But yeah, it's looking good. Obviously, Al has got pride of place here in the middle, surveying the entire garden, which I think is fantastic. And I have got plans. I've got plenty of ferns in the greenhouse. I've got plans to carry on further down. I want to take this all the way up to that big oak tree down there. The problem is I have got bluebells turning up. So as you can see down here, there's bluebells just absolutely everywhere. And these ones here, where I've walked on them, I've damaged them. Now, that little bit of damage won't be a problem to them. They'll survive that. But if I keep doing it, I will end up killing them off. So I'm thinking I might have to leave that till later in the year. Obviously the weather's turned as well, so I don't quite know what I'm going to be doing for the next couple of weeks. But for now, I'm going to end this video here. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I shall see you later. Well, the mountain opposite is rapidly turning white. It's almost as though Mother Nature didn't like my mild winter comment. But never mind, I'm in here nice and warm by my fire. So, anyone got any marshmallows?